My name is Gary Wornell, and I'm a Canadian-born artist working in Finland. I've been working in Finland since the end of 1994. And my work over the last 35 years has been initially in ceramics, and since I moved to Finland I've been working mostly with digital photography. I think I'm inspired by so many different things. It's quite hard to pin down, but I think the way we live as people and the people that I meet usually inspire me. Very often my abstract works appear not to be connected to those subjects specifically, but in the background they're very much there. Works are based on, I think the works that will be in this exhibition come from abstract moments of being with people in a certain situation, so that I'm capturing more of the feeling of that moment rather than a very specific sort of concrete subject. So I'm much more after the feelings of that situation than the actual physical circumstances of that situation. Working with a camera, I'm very often around people, and working as a ceramic artist, I was working pretty much on my own, making objects from clay. And I realized when I came to Finland, and when the sort of gradual process of changing to digital work came about, that I was much more interested in being around people and photographing the environment that I'm in and interpreting those images to reflect that feeling. So it's changed quite a lot, and even now it's changing even more. I'm becoming much more interested in identifying those people that I'm working with quite clearly. So I've become very interested in portraiture recently, and in this kind of thing. So some of my work that I did in a residency 2 years ago in Latvia was only based on working with people, and I gave myself that project because I have a certain shyness which would prevent me from really approaching people directly and asking them to take photographs. So I gave that to myself as a kind of test to see how I could change my approach to working with people, and that was very successful. It really opened me up, and in another way. So the works that came out of that exhibition also have influenced the way I've developed my work in the last 12 months or so. My experience in Germany when I was taking those portraits was how, first of all, I'm not used to taking portraits, so I didn't know what photographers should do when they're taking portraits. And I always see somehow a lack of knowledge as being beneficial because it frees you from the norms, you know, what's expected or so on. I think even when I ordered the lights for that exhibition, I had to search on the internet because I had no idea what a portrait photographer would use for this. And and yet when I set up those lights and I started to shoot, I was amazed at how quickly people felt at ease with me and would expose parts of themselves which I would imagine would normally take much more intimate relationship in order to achieve. So I was astonished at how quickly and how easily people gave themselves to me in a way, and this to me was extremely it was marvelous. It's incredible. And as I said, people queued for 3 or 4 hours, or even to the next day, to once they saw the pictures going up on the exhibition. They just loved the idea of having their picture taken. And I just said to them, I'm not a passport photographer, I'm not a portrait photographer, I have no idea really who you are, but I want to, in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I want us to have a kind of intimate relationship in which you give yourself to me and we find something about you in the picture and nothing more, and just let's have fun. And they did, and it was incredible. The works that will be shown in the Tampere exhibition will be to a large part these abstract works which have come about from this being with people in certain situations, but they are movement based. They are coming from these situations where I have felt something but not wanted to capture it as a concrete event. And the names of the works, I think, give some clues as to those circumstances. I think from a technical point of view, it's interesting that they're done using an inkjet printer and that they're hand coated and so on. But ultimately, this is not the point of making work. Is not to do with technique. It's to do with the way the works are just as they are on their own. You shouldn't really be thinking, I think, about how they're made, but more about whether they reach you. I've done so much technical work, so it's kind of it overshadows the content. But the reason the technical work is there is to provide the vehicle for that expression, if you like. My first photographs were of my environment where I was living, and they were very strange pictures of street corners and objects which I found interesting. And I remember when I developed those when I developed those pictures and showed them around, people went, "Well, what is this?" And then I realized that, okay, I was looking at things in a way that most people weren't, that it didn't seem to make any sense to them. So maybe that was kind of the seeds of this thing, that, okay, I have a slightly different way of seeing things, and maybe that's what an artist is. I don't know.